Hey, hey, hey. So, this is episode 6 of the Main Character Podcast. Of course, with the main character, Fly Guy Kai, the captain, as in the title, the main character, numero uno, the main director, the MC with the mic in his hand. Can't think of a clever rap after that. Okay. Oh, man. This one was getting to me, right? Because I I shot episode 6. Look at me using words like that. But I shot episode 6 and it kept messing up. I was using Microsoft Clipchamp. Cool, help you. It lets you shoot your video on there and then edit it also. So it's like all in one place kind of. For some reason, me shooting the sixth one wasn't working on there. Maybe it was, maybe it was God's way of saying like, hey, you don't need Clipchamp anymore. Or maybe something's gonna happen with Clipchamp and you don't need to record on there anymore. So now what I'm doing is just using the regular recording program that you can on my computer, and then I downloaded CapCut, edit it down there just like that. Listen, I ain't super duper, like, I haven't gotten that far yet as far as editing, as far as like doing other stuff, but it's hard to do. You know what it is? Whenever I have to fix something, it's hard to do it because you're used to the image being like a reflection versus actually shooting it how it looks. Adjustments, right? Trial and error. That's where I want to start. That's what the whole thing was. It was like, listen, it was good points too. And the way I was shooting it was, it only let me do it for 30 minutes. Then I would have to let it like upload for like a cool, like just a minute. I can go to the bathroom, get a drink or something real quick, come back, start at 30 minutes again. Cool. See what I didn't like and what I did like, which majority of the time I just let it go because I'm trying to just be super authentic. I'm always going to try to be authentic to the best of my ability. If there's some stuff where like there's too much of a break, I'm going to try to edit and cut it out that way. But otherwise than that, I pretty much just let the video go on. So that's me. I'm talking about the topic, and it was yesterday when I was from the gym, had the energy, I knew the topic. I was like, cool, I'm into it. Bam. Some stuff that was a little bit personal about me didn't save. I was trying it 3 different times, nothing. Cool. Trial and error. Trial and error and persistence, okay? Again, since it didn't work, I had to record it over again. So I went over the same topics, still a little hype, because I had somewhat of a break, because it was like over a couple of hours where it wasn't working. I was trying something. Did it again, and guess what? The same thing happened again. I couldn't upload it. It would be saved on Clipchamp, and then for some reason, Clipchamp is just, when I tried to export it somewhere else, the file was corrupt or something. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this again, okay? I'm going to just switch to other topics. And that sucked. A little bit. Because I am persistent. And luckily, I have a level of patience that most people tend to get jealous of. Which I don't understand. Like, some people, they're just like, there are certain things that I can't be patient about. Like, just certain things. But otherwise, most of the time, I got a lot of patience. Some people are like, oh man, I don't know how you can be so patient. How do you have the, I don't know, how do you have the patience? And I guess it's just something that's been natural. Or probably something to do with growing up. When you have to look back and think about things where you had to wait for, like, let's say if you didn't have one of those parents that could get you new shoes right away or something. You had to wait to get new shoes. And it's like, oh, okay, this is the part where I got to wait until I get new shoes and nothing I can do about it. I think I understood that early on, where there's things I can control and there's things I can't control. The things that I can control, I can speed it up to my liking. I can get it done to my liking. But there are things that I can't control where I have to work on that rule of time for that specific thing. What am I going to do? Shout, cry, get angry? No. I have to be patient. And learning that, I think that helped out a lot with a lot of things too. Patience gets you a long way, okay? Patience and perseverance? Yo, I might be dropping knowledge. I think I'm in that. Yo, getting to 33 and getting up, I'm just like, yo, let me try to spin a couple of words around just to feel like I'm on my TI type shit. Just drop some knowledge, some gems, put a little sprinkle of a dictionary word in there. You got me. I'm your next motivational speaker. Come to me, I'm gonna give you a TED talk for 2 minutes and I'm gonna inspire you completely. Maybe. If I could inspire myself, okay? But I think like when I'm looking at how people have done YouTube, how I've done it for a long time, and they say something like, when they say things like, hey, you may not catch it on the first video, 10th, 50th, the 100th, 150, but you just need one to catch. So I'm pretty patient when it comes to just having that one to catch, because I guess what's good about not being out there yet, or like not like right away, you can kind of get comfortable with setting up, with recording, with trying to get topics, or maybe freestyle it, because I do like to freestyle it, but there's certain points where I'm just looking at notes and it's kind of a, hey, let's try to get something in order. Order is good sometimes, okay? But with this YouTube thing, and everybody wants to do it, but you only get a small percentage of people that actually go to do it. And then with the percentage of people that actually go to do it, there's only a certain amount of percentage of people that will continue, because a lot of people start, but not a lot of people finish. And with things like this, especially if it's just a regular part of your life, then it's not, and much like life in general, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, because you don't want to sprint to the end of your life, because then you got to look back like, wait, I missed this, because I was trying to speed up to a certain part. I was trying to speed to get to certain things, and I missed out a whole bunch of stuff along the way. When it comes to life, you would rather be the turtle than you would the hare. And that's a childhood thing that they taught us. You know, they show the Bugs Bunny cartoon where it was Bugs going against the turtle, and the turtle was just going super slow. Bugs is just booming on it. A couple of funny things happen. I think it was one where like Bugs fell asleep for a minute because he was like, yo, I'm so far ahead, I don't have to worry about anything. And he slept for too long, and the turtle actually but got super close to the finish line and won. That's just life in general. Like, you can't, like, there are certain things where you do have to be fast. Things do have to happen at a rapid pace, but otherwise than that, with life in general, slow and steady wins the race. Okay? The one thing I always keep with me from the military is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Now, don't try to make it a whole revolving door like circle type thing, because it's slow is smooth. It's smooth is fast, but fast is not slow. Yo, I thought about that sometimes. My mind will work like that. It's like, I wonder if it's a whole, like, nah, that's not how it works. Just know that when you do things slowly, that means you're making sure that things aren't messing up. And when you are ensuring that things aren't messing up, then that means they go according to plan, which means they go that normal pace, versus if you were to speed through it and you make a mistake and you got to keep going back, it took you longer. So in that sense, like, I'm not trying to be a super master Roshi when it comes to advice. Somebody got to hear it. Maybe you. Maybe somebody you shared this with. In the beginning, I'm just going to say, like, comment, subscribe. Help your boy get to a notable status. I do want to do collaborations eventually too. Like an actual, I got all the time in the world. So an actual podcast, like, I mean, this is an actual podcast, but I mean, with potentially other people, that'll work. Cause I see a lot of podcasts, and then the people, they have some type of beef, and then it doesn't work, and then next thing you know, it's super awkward. Then you'll see like that one podcast, you got one group of people that split and said a different word, and then another people, I guess whoever owned the name, they'll just keep it going, maybe with a different cast of people, and it doesn't seem the same. So I don't want to. I think maybe that's why sometimes people who do like solo podcasts probably works, or just streaming in general. Like I do want to get to that point where I do play video. I have time to play video games. Some of the video games aren't worth my time though. Yo, like some of the video games are like after you've played so many video games, it's a thing where if you see it before if you see when you play betas, when you play alphas, play betas, or you just get the demo, majority of the time that's the game. They're just giving you a slice of it. That's the game. You'll have people that go like, no, they're gonna add this. They're gonna buff the graphics up like 3 times better. It's gonna look really polished and dog. 33, okay. I've probably been playing video games since I was 5. I done seen it all, done it all. When they give you that demo, they give you that beta access, that's mostly probably just get a little bit of feedback, even though they already got the game done. They're just trying to get like buzz. They're trying to see if they can fix minute things. It's just a numbers thing where like, yo, we got to get it out there. We got to get the people to see that this game is what it is. We want people to have fun. But that's the game you're going to get. So if you have a whole bunch of complaints and you don't like a game based on what it's showing you, you do have to wait for the review to really go through the whole game. Because sometimes that beginner step could be the... But just know if you were expecting grander, like in the grand scheme of things, if you were expecting grander things or how certain things should work for a character, this and that, what you see is what you get. A lot of these games are like that. And some of these games, they give you the half. I think I talked about this before, but it's crazy. They give you now half the game, but you pay that full price as if it was for a full game. And then they work on it as you play it. Give you DLC that's technically the game. They just sectioned it off to make you pay for it again. Realistically, we are that price. People were kind of taken back when I think it was Ubisoft or something. No, Ubisoft was saying don't get used to owning your games or something. That was dumb. But I think they were also the ones that were saying like games should be costing $100 or $120. To be fair, I don't think that. But to be fair, we technically, in a way, already do that. When you get these games and there's DLC, that's the game. Before, I gotta reach back into the past, right? Before they used to, the game is what you got, the game. They give you the game, you pay for it, you get all the joy out of it. You good. Even when they had DLC, the DLC a lot of the times would either be free or it would only cost like $2.99 or maybe $5. But still, now when you play a game, they give you a certain amount and you're just like, yo, this is it. Or even if you don't have all the time in the world, people still complete a game at a considerable amount of time, especially if it's a good game. And then it's that part where it's silence. What else do you got? This is all you're gonna give me? It's cool. Call of Duty. You gave me some story. People are tired of Call of Duty stories. I don't care. I don't care what people say. The Call of Duty story is gonna do the same thing. Either you're doing future combat, you're gonna do modern combat. You're gonna go back to the past. You're going back to World War II. You're going back to Vietnam. You're gonna fight some Nazis if you're going back to the past. Majority of the time, presently, it's gonna take someplace in like the Middle East, and then futuristic, it's just gonna be some dickhead in America that wants to run like a mercenary company. That's pretty much what you're gonna get. But they give you, you think of how many Call of Duty games came out over the years, but they give you small amount of guns, and then later on, now they're starting to do a little different. Now they got the season passes, and you can earn your way to get those guns the normal way, just slight grind to play the game, cool. Or you can pay for it and get the gun early, but it's not like a super big deal. But you have the other games, you have the RPGs, maybe the MMOs or something like that, where you're already paying $70 now for a game, and then DLC expansions may come out to 20, and if they give like 4 of them, you're paying 80. So you're paying it already. You just don't have to pay all of it up front. But the problem comes to when they want you to pay it all up front, it's gonna hit your pockets hard, and it's gonna make it harder for them though. Because people are going to look at reviews, and they're going to look at everything. They're going to wait for one person that has that money that plays it thoroughly. And if they do not like anything that they see, like, listen, I'm not paying like an electric bill or something in the summer for a video game that you only get a 4-hour story out of, or lackluster story, and your multiplayer isn't up to par. Most of the time, people will wait for it to be on sale, or wait for all the DLC to come out and be on sale, and see how the game has come. If it has a lot more to it, then it's like, okay, now it's worth my time. So video games are, I don't know how I spun into that, but video games are definitely streaming. I do play certain games. I'm going to record more. Right now, I only play majority of the time like Helldivers, and I went back to play Final Fantasy 16 because of the DLC that came out. I actually really liked it, so I didn't mind it. If you really like a game, you'll spend money on it. Fortnite is free. Fortnite has skins that you can unlock eventually, but there are other skins that you want them skins, pay for it. If you like it, if you want to, you have the choice. They don't give you an extra boost or nothing. It's just, it looks cool. You want an Naruto skin, you want a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin, you want the Invincible skin, go for it. But you gotta pay for it if you like it. That's the thing. That's the model they really should be going towards. Just make your game likable, and if you have certain things that people tend to rock with, they'll pay for it. If you bring it, they will come. And off of trial and error, I'm going to switch to something that I thought about while I was at the gym. Reminder, go to the gym, people. Even if you go on a treadmill for like 30 minutes, or you go on a Stairmaster for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you do a little lifting here and there. Just go to the gym. Health benefits galore. I was thinking about the whole beef with Kendrick and Drake. That one line, it's funny. I start calling Kendrick too. I started calling him the Compton Napoleon, or the West Coast Red Smurf, which is funny. But that line where he says, and it wasn't a funny thing. It was like, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acting tough. I think he was probably saying that from an actual, like, he really means it. He's like, yo, I like Drake the melodies. I don't like Drake when he's acting tough. And if you have to sit and think about it, think about the mixtapes that he's come out with. Some of them it's like a mixture of rap, singing. But the good ones to me is like it's such a weird thing. I don't mind when he raps, but I like when he has the melodic, like, singing kind of tracks or something. I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he's acting tough. So when he's really acting tough, he's an actor, so he can blend into it with his lyrics, or whoever writes them. But when it comes to the melodies, it's like when somebody does something and it's not in their character, you like, dog, why are you acting kind of weird? Like, what's going on with you? But when you see somebody and they actually do something where you're like, yo, that's the true them. Like, that's where you sign. Like, yo, we've been waiting for this one all day. Like, get your raps off, but get your melodic raps off. Or go to your singing. You don't have to do the tough act. That's not you, and that's okay if it's not you. Not everybody has to be tough. That's one thing in this world, is not everybody has to be tough. That doesn't mean that you're a bitch or anywhere, or that you're soft. It's just you don't have to be like, oh, look at me. Like the whole, like, is it red pill kind of thing? Whatever type of mindsets those are, like, you don't have to be that. Okay? You can just be, listen, if it's what they call like soft guy era or something, which makes no sense because you're just a person. Like, I don't understand. If you like things a certain way, that doesn't make you soft. It's the same thing with women. If they like certain things, that doesn't make them masculine. Doesn't have that masculine energy. But yeah, this whole beef thing, first off, from the jump, I was like, yo, I don't need to see it. It's stupid. And again, when people gave J. Cole's criticism, even now I still hear it. And people, they give that bullshit where they're saying, oh, the grown up in me, you know, the adult in me, I love what he did. But the rap fan in me, just, I want these two to go at it. And then you see what happens when beef happens, because they didn't want a friendly competition. They said that, no, it wasn't like that. We understood it was a friendly competition, but this wasn't like that. This wasn't what y'all made it to be. This wasn't what y'all were going to make it to be. Y'all were always going to push this narrative like, oh man, it's beef between them. Like, fuck all that. They don't like each other since day one. Cause you see that Drake and J. Cole, I mean, Kendrick and Drake, big three, mixing it up. But Kendrick and Drake, Kendrick was actually giving Drake props for that. In fact, all the people that turned on him was giving him props back then. And even while they were on the come up, like, yo, Drake really looked out for me, put me on. I think Kendrick was opening for Drake too, a couple of times. And they had that type of thing where they were cool. The big three were actually all cool at one point, and then just that controversy happened, and Drake kind of took it the wrong way. So I put that on Drake. But otherwise than that, you see what happens, and people who are at that top, that level, understand each other, and you don't get many people like that. So when you make friends, genuine friends in that same type of realm, then if it's genuine, then you really don't want, like, if you would have any problems or something, majority of the time you talk it out. Like, you don't want to really mess that up. Not just be like, oh, I need them to keep my stardom or something. No, just on a past stardom level and all that. You have someone that you can talk to or someone that can relate to you. Be like, yo, all these tours, or yo, this album is stressing me out, and you know how much the people really want it from me. So you get a few people that understand. So I understand J. Cole being like, dog, like, I'm trying to preserve my peace. I'm trying to preserve the peace out here. I'm not trying to badmouth nobody. I just want to rap. KD, I don't want to be a leader. I just want to hoop. Y'all want me to be this thing. I'm gonna talk my shit because I'm a great basketball star. But that don't mean I want to be the face of the league. I just want to hoop. I don't want to be a leader. I just want to hoop. It was saying Charles Barkley said that one time. He was like, "Yo, don't look at me as a role model. I'm a basketball player. I want to play basketball." J. Cole, he just want to rap. He just wants to rap, and he just wants to. He'd rather be in a competition to a friendly competition. You both get on the track, and then it's that, oh, you made that verse, oh, I'm coming with this verse. You made this verse, oh, I'm coming with that verse. Like, yeah. Like this, we gonna let the people decide who got it. Like, I know I got the best verse, but what do y'all think? Like, on a friendly type of thing. If that's what y'all wanted, then y'all should have been pushing for them to be on like combined songs. And they would have done that a long time ago, because they were always talking about doing a mixtape together or something. If they, like, a couple of songs would have been cool, because it seemed like now they got the free time to do it. Because like they said, which is true, Kendrick only pop out every once in a while, like the groundhog. J. Cole, he killing features, but he still has that low key type of status too. Drake is the main one that's usually out there. Like he's outside. But I don't know, man. I'm always gonna, especially out of the three, I'm always gonna rock with J. Cole. But the whole Drake needs to stick to the. We like Drake when he's more melodic than he is rapping. I dig that. Even though people will bullshit you too and be like, he's right. But when he does it, when he gives you an album that's more melodies than it is rapping, you guys will complain. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. And with Drake, it just happens to be like that. But at the same time, he's reached a thing where it doesn't matter if you do or you don't do, because people are going to come and they're going to buy it. Even now, like with this whole beef thing going on, that doesn't take away from his catalog. That doesn't take away from the songs he's come out with. That doesn't take away from the tours he'll still be able to do, because he has, regardless of how it turned out, he still has fans. And people will say that up front. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm still a fan of Drake. Drake is still, like, people will say, yeah, Drake's still my favorite artist. It's just he lost his battle. He lost his beef. All right, let me go back to bumping his albums. Let me go back to bumping his mixtapes. Same thing with listening to J. Cole. Like, oh, J. Cole apologized. Oh man, I don't agree with this, but you're still gonna bump everything he comes out with. When he comes out with the fall off, you're still gonna be there to listen to it. Okay. Now I like to do a little change subject thing. I was thinking about multiverses. Spider-Man brought it up. If you've been, you know what, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I was gonna say if you've been something like that, but if you've been in that comic book round, maybe you've seen the shows, you've seen the movie, you just started getting into it, but you'll notice a thing where they'll have multiple universes, and it'll be a version of the present comic book universe, but like sometimes it's slight tweaks, sometimes it's complete backflip tweaks where the heroes are the villains are the heroes. Sometimes it's tweaks where it's like an apocalyptic type of world, or it's a futuristic type of world, or it's the same heroes but in a past setting, different things like that. And it got me thinking, right? The way the multiverse is, a difference between multiverse, or maybe a connection between multiverse and aliens. What if instead of multiverse, there's just, because the universe is so big, maybe there's just copies of Earth out there, and it just happens to be tweaks. Because how do we know? Because the way that the universe is set up and the way that it's ever expanding, we'd probably never get there unless we somehow found either some type of cross space light speed teleportation travel type thing, or we were able to get some type of space frequency and we could like vibe teleport to that. But that got me, I was like, yo, is it multiverse or is it multi planets? Like how they have multiple versions here, but it's just maybe like a controlled experiment. Because I kind of consider God to be the ultimate biologist, the ultimate scientist. If you look at everything from the shirt I got on to the way that I talk, the way your body operates, how you symmetrically have like lungs. Of course, there's how the intestines work, but it's still the same thing. You split yourself down the middle, and you know, if you look inside yourself, majority of the time, it's gonna be symmetrical, like a good, like perfect, damn near perfect unison. Not unison, but perfect, damn near perfect symmetry. But even then, like the way that solid objects work versus how liquid objects, gaseous objects, how energy works. But what if it's like a controlled experiment, right? You remember science class where they usually give you sometimes they give you the plant experiment. You have plant A and plant B. Plant A, you're going to give it the water it needs and you're going to keep it in the sun. And then plant B, you're going to give it all the water it needs, but you're going to put it in the shade and see how it fares. Or, oh, I thought something bit me. Or you have a plant C, and plant C, instead of giving it water, you're going to give it like carbonated water and sunlight, carbonated water and shadow. Maybe you try to give it, I don't know, hot water. Like you give it water and you're putting it in the sun, but maybe you give it hot water. Maybe you give it cold water, see what that does. Maybe you try to give it juice and see if it does anything. Maybe you don't put it in a pot, like stuff like that. Like what if it's just the way that space is and how ever expanding it is, it's just Earth's, but God kind of tweaks each one to see how it plays out. Doesn't go any further than that. Just the almost similar type of ingredients, but little things change here. Maybe the whole originated from primates to like cavemen to people now thing happens, but instead of originating from primates, you originate from fish and you get mer people, or you originate from birds, you get bird people. Or maybe there is a world where they give them an energy source that's magic, and now you have a world that's full of magic. So possibilities. The only reason I brought this up too is because one of the stories I work on, I kind of have a thought about including that, because it would be a dope concept to where the multiverse thing in comics is done, right? Either the Flash does it, something where he'll run to a different unit. Like that's alternate timelines. Sometimes it's the alternate timelines, or it's gonna be a thing where you go to the alternate universes. You go just like alternate things, but it's always something where it's a completely different universe. It's never in the same universe. And my thought was maybe it is in the same universe, but it's just in different sectors that are so far apart and that are always far apart that you can't come in contact to it unless you develop the technology to get to it. Trying to be creative. Listen, when people create the wheel, it's kind of hard to wow people with a wheel unless you have that wheel do something specific. When it came to, that's why I kind of see with writing, especially with trying to write comic book stories and like my own comic book characters, majority of the wheel that's been invented, even before Stan Lee, even before the first comic book that came out, there's been hero tales. And maybe even before that, but the first hero tale that came out, that was the wheel that was invented. Now, maybe it was the stone wheel, and then discovered, hey, we can make wheels out of wood, and hey, we can make wheels out of metal. Hey, we can make them with rubber on it. Hey, we can make them thicker. Hey, we can make them weatherproof. Hey, we can make them we can make them out of a different material that's stronger and costs less, we can make it turn to the side. We can make them super interchangeable. Stuff like you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can reinvent how it's shaped and what it's made of and how it acts. That's my approach. I'm trying to drop slight gems here and there. You can't reinvent the wheel, but you can reinvent how it acts, what it's made of, what exactly it contributes in the grand scheme of things. And I'm using my phone for notes. I gotta find my notepad again because I do scribble and write my stuff down like a real MC. I write my own topics. All right, who want beef? I write mine. I don't use AI. I don't got nobody else in here. I better not have nobody else in here because it should be me and me only. You see somebody pop out in the background, I don't catch it. Please let me know because I will happily get out. I'm not one of those people that gotta stay. If I gotta go, I'm dipping. Now, changing pace again. The big three. And you know what I mean with the big three? I'm not talking about rap. I'm talking about anime. That's the real big three we talk about, okay? Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. And how, one, the changing of the guard. Changing of the guard, a lot of times basketball fans will usually refer to it as that because that's the main place where when you think of changing of the guard, you think of that. You think of how Wilt dominated. You think about how Larry Bird and Magic Johnson dominated. You think about how Jordan dominated. You think about how Kobe dominated LeBron James. Now it's a new okay, about to be out or stories about to be done. What's going to be the new story? Who's going to be the new face? And that's one of the things where I kind of want to do some research to see. I might come up with the answers next time. I gotta write that down. But who is going to be the new big three? I do see some people. Well, my thing is, what's the criteria for the big three? I spelled that wrong too. Ashamed of myself. But what's the criteria for how long that a big three reigns? Because you really don't care about big three. Like there's other anime that came out that are fire, but it's just there's always a third place, a second place, and a first place. That's really all you care about. Well, except for who's in first place. That's interchangeable depending on who you're talking to. A lot of people will put Naruto because they couldn't get into One Piece and they thought Bleach was okay. Or a lot of people will say Bleach because Bleach is fire, which it is. And maybe they didn't watch Naruto there's people actually like that. Like there's people that have not touched One Piece, especially now because when they look and they see it's on episode 1101. How do I have time for that? And there's sites that'll break it down for you that'll show you exactly what order to watch it in. Well, not what order to watch it in, but basically how to watch it and what episodes to skip. Because there are filler for people who are just catching on to anime. I know a lot of people know about filler, but there's filler episodes. And the filler episodes are meant to spread out the material they have. Sometimes, a lot of times when manga catches heat, it catches heat when it's not finished yet. So once animation catches up to where the mangaka left off, or where they stopped at, because they do have to take breaks, then what they have to do is have filler, or they just have to stop animating it for a while. But the filler also gives the mangaka more time to get what they got going. So that way, if the animators know they're getting ready to catch up, it's like, oh, okay, we'll give you some filler. We'll give you enough filler episodes for the year, and then see oh, this is what you got, cool. Now we can start continuing. But yeah, there's people that haven't watched Bleach. There's people that haven't watched Naruto. There's people that haven't watched One Piece. But what do we consider the big three? Like, what eras? They're still around. They're still doing good. Man, I don't know. I was thinking of LeBron when it came to One Piece, because One Piece, just like LeBron, is still around. And when you see that most series kind of end after a certain point, One Piece is still going on. And it's one of those things where it's, how are you still telling this long of an engaging tale or story without so much as a fall off? Because to tell you the truth, One Piece hasn't really fallen. If anything, it's gained a lot of popularity. Some people have hopped on a bandwagon, and you're gonna see a lot of anime get super hyped up. That was a complaint with Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, people were, they're overhyping this. It's not that. Demon Slayer is beautiful, but when you peel it back, it's the same tale. Most of the time, it's a revenge tale, but it's wrapped up in a hero plot. My family got killed by this person. My sister got turned into a demon. So what do I want to do? I simply want to kill all the demons I can, and especially the person that did this to my family and my sister. How do I go about that? I go about through this journey. I become not only just a swordsman, but I become one of the few that can actually fight these demons. Maybe become a Hashira, who are like the top of these swordsmen. Get it going like that. But when you look at One Piece and you look at how the longevity it has, how it's still dominating, who do you think of that is still lasting long and still putting up numbers? LeBron James. But criteria for big three, do we go by eras? Do we go by sales? Does it matter if the new big three that you come up with, doesn't matter if there's something from previous big three? Is it interchangeable? I know Bleach has stopped showing, and it finished its manga. It finished its manga a while ago. And it did stop showing for a point, but it never finished. Now it's still going on. Naruto for a point. You know what? Naruto technically did finish, but also technically through Boruto, it's still going on. Because it's still using those characters. It's just focusing on a different character. That's like if they continue, hopefully, I really hope so. If they continue Hunter x Hunter, if they like go to reanimate it, and I hope they just continue it. But it switches to Kurapika. So because it switches to Kurapika, is it still the Hunter x Hunter that we know? Or if they give it like Hunter x Hunter, I don't know, Crimson Eyes or something like that, does that count? Would it become part of would it be a new stand-in for Big Three if you had to sub something out? Very interesting. And when you make these lists, I've made my list. You can see it on my thumbnail. You see it on my thumbnail where I have my 10 main characters from my top 10 anime. They're listed on the bottom and the top of the thumbnail. That's my top 10. You may like something out of there more than me. You may know a little bit more than me. You may hate something out of there, but it's my top 10. If people don't agree with, let's say people don't agree with when they make a new big three, the big three. If people don't agree with why you like an anime or why you have an anime in your top 10, it's okay. I'm here to tell you it's okay if people don't like the same anime that you like, because there are other people that do. Or there may be other people that see it the way you see it. If everybody doesn't like the same thing you do, it's okay to be different. I want you guys to break out of this sheep habit. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be you. You don't have to like an anime because it's getting all this popularity, because people are talking about it. You don't have to like an anime because your friends like it. If you like a certain anime, go ahead. Some people I know, I like Ronin Warriors. It's not in my top 10, but I like Ronin Warriors. Ronin Warriors doesn't have the best animation though. Is it a super complex story? Not really. It's chosen samurais that show up to stop evil General Talpa, Netherworld general, from taking over Earth. Of course, they have special powers, and of course, they're gonna get the job done at the end of the day. But of course, you have that twist where someone has to stand in your way, and it's people who also have samurai armor who stand in their way. So it's not a super complicated plot, but I still like it. A lot of people, when they watch it, probably be like, yo, I'm bored. Yo, this is an old style because it did come out in like the 80s. I don't get it. Why would I go back to this? There's better animation now. Those could be all good points. Listen, I don't care. I like what I like. I like what I like. You like what you like. Be comfortable in what you like. And like I said, it doesn't matter the reason. You could say you like an anime or it's your favorite because you like how the backgrounds look. You think it has the best animation, and that's what you go off of. Or you think it has the best action. You think that the characters look a certain way and make you feel a certain way. Listen, how characters make you feel, that's all you. I'm not here to judge. It's your life. It's your party. You do what you want to, okay? But however you like something, that goes with everything. Like if you like a certain movie because it makes you feel a certain way, or your favorite actors in there, you like a certain sport because, or you like a team because it's a family thing. Maybe one of your parents like the team really, really, like to a fanatic extent, and you grew up liking them. Even if you don't know anything about the players, or if it's like television shows, like if you don't know to an extent the subject matter or something, and it's your favorite, it's fine. Be comfortable with people being different. Or be different. Don't be like everybody else. That's not fun. If you have things in common, that's cool. But to copy everybody else just because everybody else is doing it, don't be a sheep. Just break out of that mentality. I want better for you. I am not going to animes I've watched. It's a lot. You know what? I'll give you. This is I know what the next topic is, so that's cool. This is a vibe check, right? I'm gonna start giving 10, maybe 10 of the anime from a lot of them that I've watched either finished or unfinished. And then if you have, by the time I get this done, maybe I gotta, if somebody connects with me on that level, I promise you, I'll try to make a Discord, try to do something like that, start having general talks about it. Until then, because I am a freshly starting YouTuber, I will keep that type of thing to myself. I watched, this is the first 10. Of course, Dragon Ball is going to be in there. Not Dragon Ball Z, not yet. Because I think when I made this list, I was going by years. And I was starting with, I was just listing them out, and I was like, okay, let me go by anime by the years. I looked on Wikipedia, looked on like other stuff. I did my Googles. And the first thing that came up, I wanted to talk about Dragon Ball, but the first thing that really came up was Voltron. If you know about Voltron was pretty much Power Rangers. It was Space Power Rangers before Space Power Rangers. And Voltron had the same exact thing to a certain extent. People, they have these lions. Whenever they're fighting something, they have their weapons, okay? But when it's time to really fight the titans, like the kaiju or something that may show up, maybe a big villain, maybe there's a certain thing that's in their path that they have to destroy, they summon these lions. These lions kind of stand for a specific element: earth, fire, and volcano, or something, the void of space, water. And is 5 people. Each person pods a lion, and then they form it together, and they form Voltron. But there was 2 different things of Voltron. There was the Voltron with the lions, and then I believe there was Voltron with spaceships. That it was like 20 different spaceships, and Voltron was more like a Agents of Shield type thing. And if certain people were together, they could form their ships together to form Voltron. So Voltron, Dragon Ball, like I was talking about earlier. This is Goku first starting out. This is Goku when he was a kid. First meeting Bulma, first meeting Yamcha, first meeting Tien and Chaozu and his best friend Krillin. And I be forgetting. Is it Par? The pig and the cat that flies around. Horrible with names. You're gonna know I'm horrible with names. I don't mean to do it on purpose. It's just how my brain operates. But you get to see Goku. You get to see that journey from there, and then when you see Dragon Ball Z, it kind of makes it that much better. Because to see how he started out, to see how this kid started out, kind of on his own. Because his grandfather did raise him, but spoiler alert, Goku, if I remember correctly, Goku killed his adoptive father or grandfather by accident, because he, sayings, they turned into the monkey, turned into Ozarus, and when he looked at the first full moon, turned into an Ozaru. Well, as much as Gohan could, because that's what he named his son after. He named his son after his grandfather, Grandpa Gohan. Which made it that much. Like, when you watch things that have like there was a show before this, and you go to see that, and then you see how the character is now, and after that, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I've been there for the whole journey. But he turns to Ozaru, end up killing him. Found a way to continue on. So it goes from there. But Dragon Ball, Ronin Warriors, I was talking about earlier. Sorry, but when it showed on Toonami, I was just like, oh, what's this? Samurais? They have weird accents, of course, because you got one with like an Irish accent, English accent, a New York accent, a California accent. Just talking normal. I don't know. Ew. But it's still dope. Of course, Dragon Ball Z, because that showed up next. Sailor Moon. You're lying if around the same time, because Dragon Ball, I think Dragon Ball Z pretty much around the same time as Sailor Moon. If you didn't chime in, or if you don't remember that song coming on, especially early in the morning, when they would show it early in the morning, because Sailor Moon was harmless. But did I finish it? I don't remember if I finished it. I do remember watching a lot of the episodes. I don't know if I finished it. I think I got to a part where her and whoever Tuxedo Mask is, I think they did get married, and they had a daughter, and the daughter could kind of change and do the same thing. That's yo. Some anime, like, I may not have finished it, but I do remember key things. Tuxedo Mask was the man. He would just show up randomly, throw a rose, I think give some encouraging words. But he had the Tuxedo Mask because he had the tuxedo with the cape that would flow in the wind wherever there was at. It was always windy. He had the top hat, that just simple mask, but it was just that mystery. And when it came to figuring out who Tuxedo Mask actually was, you wouldn't know. We would know to an extent, but people in that like anime, like in that anime world, would know. They're like, oh my god, you were Tuxedo Mask the whole time. Yes. Yu Yu Hakusho. Come on. Yusuke Urameshi. Kobara, Hiei Kurama. Like the Fantastic Four, okay, of the spirit world. You always hear people say like, oh, the best tournament arc was the Dark Tournament. I like the Dark Tournament. I like all of Yusuke. Like I like all of Yu Yu Hakusho. The Dark Tournament was fire. The best tournament arc? I don't know. It pushed everybody. Damn, I think I'm gonna have to sit and think about this. I'm gonna have to look at some tournament arcs. Because Hunter x Hunter had some good tournament arcs. Naruto, come on. Chunin exams? Tournament arcs. There's good tournament. Dragon Ball Z, of course. Tournament arcs. The Dark Tournament, though, but it definitely was one of those pivotal things where it kind of pushed each character and it showed off what each character could do. My favorite there's two favorite ones where Yusuke, spoiler alert, where Yusuke, my thing went out of focus. Yusuke, he not transformed, but his power, the way his power was, it kind of transformed. And when his power transformed on the inside, he was able to beat Toguro. Toguro was the guy who was beating everybody's ass because he was literally like a demon. And when he would charge up, just like when Frieza would say, oh, this is only like this percent of my power. This, when he was in his final form, like final form Frieza, he was like, oh, I'm only using like 10% of my power. Or I'm using 30 now. This is 100% of my power. And he grew up like the big arms and all that. He had like the super stocky body. Toguro, it came to a point where he looked super monstrous. His shoulders, you know those like 80s shoulder pads that would pop out, like his would go times 2. And the veins in his neck, the way his neck was and the way his body was, just looked super grotesque. But he was that guy. And Yusuke had to be more than that guy in order to beat him. So it's between that and the gift he received. The gift he received from Genkai. And also when Kurama had he kind of reached into who he actually was, which was like this silver fox. I forget a lot of names, but it's the silver fox demon. That's who he was. He was kind of on the run. He went to human world to hide. He hid inside this baby boy that was being born, but he come to love where he was at, the parents that raised him, especially his mother. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this dude is one of those. He's one of those demons that people are like, oh, that's the silver fox, you know, such and such, super great power, like all this. Another moment was when I will say a third moment was when Hiei did Dragon of the Darkness Flame. And when he later used it more than once, they're like, oh, he used Dragon of the Darkness Flame. That was his one shot. He's not going to do it again. It's going to cause too much pain on his body. My boy raps off Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Like, yo, using it again? He's serious. That, like, the way my eyes pop out because I watched so much anime, I do, huh? That type of thing. Please watch it. Mobile Fighter G Gundam, and I did a 5-1 anime. 5-1 anime where I went to go watch the first 5 episodes to see, because I remember watching it here and there, but I don't remember finishing, which I didn't. But after watching it again, I feel that if it got a remake, like, you can keep the story to the extent, but the animation a little better. You draw the fights out a little bit more. It'd be fire. But it was still a good watch. Yeah, Mobile Fighter G Gundam was them. They didn't. It's a future. Mobile Suit Gundam is always something where people from Earth decided to go make space colonies, like out just surrounding space, still surrounding Earth, to live a better life. The people that couldn't go, they gotta make do with what they got. It's not the greatest, but they gotta do it. The people out there, they don't want to start full out wars to figure out who's in charge of what all the colonies do, because that's what they're trying to figure out. So instead of not having all these wars, what they would do is build up these mechs, these giant mechs called Gundams, and they would send their best fighters represent each colony. There was like the Neo Asia colony, Neo Australia, Neo Japan. Neo Japan, of course, it's Gundam, so Neo Japan was the main character of the star. And that's how they would have this. They would have it take place on Earth, so that was kind of fucked up too, because wherever they went, it was just they went there to fight, regardless of where it was at. And you could tear up a lot of places on Earth, but that's just how it was. But they would go there to Earth, send their best fighters, and whoever was the last person standing, that's the colony that would get they were like the president of all the other colonies for, I think, 4 years. And then of course it starts over again. Interesting. Like I said, if it would have got a remake, if it would have got a reanimation, it'd be up there. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. I remember it chiming in here and there. A lot of shows on Toonami that came out. Sometimes you would lose it. Like sometimes, especially then, maybe I didn't want to stay up and I wanted to go to sleep. Maybe I was sleepy, because Toonami from that point, even if you see it now, Toonami kind of starts at like 9 or 10 and it runs all the way until Inuyasha. Everybody knows about that. Inuyasha until, I think Inuyasha runs at, what is it, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m.? So if you hear that, once you hear that, you know Toonami. You know that you missed Inuyasha, just in case. It's crazy if you wanted to watch Inuyasha because it showed that late. I believe they may have showed it early on. They were just doing a rerun or something. But if you were staying up to watch it, then it was on at that time. Kagome. But it would show around that time. And Gundam Wing, I believe if it wasn't shown in that after school block, which the afternoon block where they would show Toonami for a little bit, I don't remember a lot of it. I'm going to do the first 5 episodes to see if I really want to continue going down memory lane with that. But there's that. Mobile Suit Gundam. No. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Let me tell you something. I tried. People, this is one of those things where people rave like, hey, Neon Evangelion is, this is dope. The opening's got that pop. Like it's got that 80s Japanese rock type feel to it. Opening's like, okay, cool, but there's a deeper thing to Neon Genesis Evangelion that even when it gets to the end, I'm either falling asleep or I'm just lost. And they came out with 3 movies. I think it gives each one gives a different ending. It's like, no, this is the ending. This is the ending. No, this is the ending. This right here is the true ending. What the fuck is the true ending? What does it all mean? Do you have the answers, Sway? You may not have all the answers. I gotta take a sip. See that perspiration? I was supposed to drink this. It's almond milk. I got vanilla wafers, but I didn't feel like chewing it in the mic. Nah. I was like, yo, I couldn't make a super cut. Nah. I want to keep this thing going. Oh, and Dragon Ball GT. Pretty much. Majority of the Dragon Ball Z's. Within that first, how it came out and how it listed within the years that it came out. Dragon Ball GT. If you watch the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT is, for many, especially after watching Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT is the real ending. If you didn't like Dragon Ball G, I will say there are a lot of people that say it ended with Dragon Ball Z. I understand that. Because when they did Dragon Ball GT, it was more so like a, hey, Toriyama, you may not have too much saying this, but we kind of want to continue it. So, because Dragon Ball Z, hot as fish grease. Okay, hot as fish grease. Right now, if you were to ask somebody if they watch anime, in fact, majority of the time, if you was to ask somebody, like, yo, you watch anime? The first thing they would say, like, oh, you mean Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, Goku, yeah, Kamehameha and all that. He turned his hair yellow. And they wanted to capitalize even more on that. Hey, let's make some more. It didn't get received that well. I don't know. No, I didn't like how it was like they made Goku a kid, so I kind of gave him a handicap because he might have been too powerful. Maybe it wouldn't have made for a very interesting story, but you could have did it because look what they did now. They got Dragon Ball Super. Was he super powerful at the end of Dragon Ball Z? Of course, he had reached Super Saiyan 3. How do you go beyond that? At Super Saiyan 4. But they made it, first they made it like a, you had the Dragon Balls, the Black Star Dragon Balls. You needed to get that, go across all space or whatever. Bulma had the super genius to make a universal Dragon Ball finder. Whatever planet it was on, they were able to go find it. But then you had the Dragon Balls where every wish had a consequence and it came in the form of a dragon. So 7 Dragon Balls, you had 7 different dragons. And you had Omega Shenron that took all the Dragon Balls in and became like a Super Omega Shenron. And that caused, not only Goku had to go Super Saiyan 4 throughout this journey, Vegeta in a way had to go Super Saiyan 4. They had to fuse and they had to become a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like, yo, especially when the fighting games came out and they had Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in the mix. And if I'm not mistaken, his moveset, he was just like this, and he would use his feet to fight you. He wasn't really taking you serious. What was that super Big Bang Kamehameha times? I think Big Bang Kamehameha times 100 or something. It was dope. I love Dragon Ball GT. I like what they had. I feel like if they had took elements from that, if they didn't like how it turned out, then cool. I would have said, yo, just take elements from that, put it in Dragon Ball Super. You had an older Goten, an older Trunks. You had Gohan who had Pan. Pan was older. You had everybody else pretty much aged. You had the explanation of why Goku and Vegeta didn't age. Vegeta had like some type of mustache and a little cut or something. Nah. But he still, he had his kids. He was going through his thing. And you take some of the elements, especially the Super Saiyan 4 element, the Golden Ozaru, like something like that. Something like the Tuffles or something. And blend it in with how they got, the gods of destruction and the angels having to fight these stronger opponents. Cool. They could have just did a fusion of that, because there's certain things I didn't like about GT, but there's certain things I don't like about Super. And the way that they Like, oh, this form right here, this is Super Saiyan God, but this is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and this is to go like Ultra Instinct, and this one's like above all of that, and you got Ultra Ego, or you got Super Saiyan Blue 2 or Ultra Blue or something. It's just you guys are just giving them different hair. Super Saiyan Rose, which I never got. Why is it Super Saiyan Rose? Because somebody else has possessed Goku's body. It's technically Goku. Realistically, he did the change like Captain Ginyu did. So it's still Goku. Still all Goku's make. It's just, I mean, in a way, it's somebody else's mind or somebody else's soul. And it shouldn't have changed. This is bugging me. Like, I'll be trying to fix it, but my eyebrow does like the rock thing. But it shouldn't have been a different color. Super Saiyan Rose, call it Rose. It's just different hair colors. Broly, we got Broly because Broly was special. Okay, Broly had a green legendary hairstyle. We accepted that. We was like, yo, that's cool because that's his thing. Fine. Maybe you could put like his own special twist on as to why when he turned Super Saiyan, it diverted to that way. Cool. You could have had different branches of Super Saiyan powers evolving. You could have maybe had Super Saiyan God, but you could have had, maybe if they don't reach Super Saiyan God, but they still do some other type of training, they go Super Saiyan 4 route, or they go Broly's route. Maybe it's like you combine. No, because then that would kind of be like Super Saiyan 4 in a way, just not transforming with the fur and everything, just green hair. They could have thought of something better than Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, the way it looked, or just throwing a hair color on somebody. Oh, we want to make them. The next one, like, let's give them purple. Probably the next one, like, let's give them purple. What color haven't we used? Let's give them. I don't know. Did they use all colors? Red, red, blue, yellow, green, orange, orange. Technically close to yellow. Plus Piccolo turned orange. Purple technically was rose, even though rose is pretty much it looks like a pinkish, but it still kind of gives that violet type of nature. What are you gonna do next? They did white. Of course, they started off with black hair. It's losing me after a while. Hopefully, it gets better. Rest in peace to the GOAT. I want to leave off with that. Not so much as I don't want to leave off with that. Book. The rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. That really messed me up. I didn't think it would mess me up. It's somebody that made something that meant a great deal to me. It was sort of my, not even sort of, it was my beginning to anime. My real beginning. We may have seen, listen, okay? Speed Racer is technically an anime. Lupin III is technically anime. Well, it is the anime, but Speed Racer technically an anime. It's just we didn't know it at the time. Came over like, why do their mouths move? Or why do they talk so fast? And when you start to grow up, you're like, that's why, because they had to try to match their voices to the word. They had to match their voices to how the character was moving their mouths. But if you've watched Speed Racer, like I did when Cartoon Network had Boomerang also, and they would show Yogi Bear, Wacky Racers, Scooby-Doo, like all the stuff on there, Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and stuff. That was technically the first anime I had seen without knowing. But one that I stuck with and put me on was just like, this is anime. Dragon Ball Z. And you think like, somebody I don't know, but they made this ill concept, this ill story that not only really took the world by storm. I'm not gonna hold you. Once you get afloat in the Macy's Day Parade, you got it. but connected a lot of people to this genre, different genres in anime, or this thing we do call anime. And to make something so gigantic that it reaches everybody across the globe. And for me not to know, I just know it was Akira Toriyama. That was it. I don't think I knew what he looked like until maybe like 10 years ago. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know what he sounded like when he talks. Necessarily how he acted. Didn't know his personal life. Didn't know if he was a good person or bad person. I just know that he created this thing that I love. And once a person like that, he died at 68. Which to me is still, I mean, you can't tell somebody, what's going on, but 68, still, it's young old. It's young old. Like once you get to around 85, 90, when people start to pass on, then it's more so like I'm really gonna miss this person because they've done so much with their time that it's affected me, like that type of sadness. Whereas this one, it was like, he's affected me so much with the writing and introduced me to anime, and it's why I love anime, why I still watch it today, why I can talk about it. And to do that, and then you were still working on something that was yours, and you pass on at this age, and we won't. Maybe you did get the appreciation that you earned. Maybe we don't know if you got enough flowers, or if anybody gave you flowers while you were still there. Maybe we didn't get a chance to give you like our appreciation for what he did. But it was just, dog, for something like that to hit me that hard to where I'm messed up the night I hear it, even in the morning, and not wanting to do anything, just that hard hitting. I never understood it when people were crying because Michael died. Michael Jackson. I knew Michael Jackson was cool. Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson, the king of pop. He made Thriller, bad. He did the thing with Janet Jackson. He just seemed like this I don't know, this bigger than life figure. Even with him going through all the scandal, he's still like a bigger than life figure. And when he died, I didn't cry. I was just like, oh man, that sucks. He died. And I kind of kept it moving. A couple of family members crying a lot. People out there, definitely. Memorials and all that. But when Akira Toriyama died, I was like, yo, I get it. Like somebody that you may not know them personally, but they make something that maybe gets you into something, or like affects you to that core, or has driven you to want to do something in that same genre, or to push you, feel motivated that they did that and they put this out, that it motivates you to do something in life. When it hits you like that, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, you may not meet a person. You may only meet them through their work or what they've done. But when it's that powerful to you and they leave, they pass on to the next life, then it's something. It gets to you. I think I felt that way with Kobe too. Kobe, especially with the way that he passed on. Especially the tragic that all the people in there passed that way. But the ones that we do know, Kobe, Gigi. And even when they got it, sometimes they'll come out with the report on how they died, what they fractured, this and that. Hearing that, like I don't want to know how much damage. Some people, I think last like 2 weeks ago, somebody got a hold of the information, was just like, oh, he died. Like I don't want to know that particular stuff. I don't want to know those instances. I don't want to know anything about that. It's already tragic enough. I don't want to have to picture what happened, how it happened. Tonight is kicking in. Oh, I don't think I explained it before. I have. Disabled veteran, salute. One of the things that kill me is tinnitus. Tinnitus, the ringing, especially right in this ear. Oh, that sharp line, that's usually hearing things. Like, it's annoying. Anyway, the thing with Kobe, I don't want to know anything too in detail about it. It was sad that it happened. But that was another one that messed me up. And mind you, we knew Kobe through his game, through his work ethic, through what he did. And to be honest, sometimes when he did show us exactly who he was, even after basketball or off the court, when he got that, if I'm not mistaken, when he got that Oscar for that short film that he was a part of, the way he talked about basketball, the way he practiced, when people come up with the stories of what he would do as far as practicing, Michael Jordan came up there, and to see all these people, how he interacted and affected their lives. And even when you see people that were like, yo, Kobe was the reason why, to a lot of people, Kobe was their Michael Jordan. And that affected me because I was like, yo, not so much as crying, but it's like, damn, like that was a great man. And Kobe was one of them people that you love to hate. You don't want to wish bad on him or nothing like that. Nothing like that. But Kobe was the person that if he played against your team and you were shaky about the person that had to guard him, or you were shaky in general about your team, and Kobe was coming, he was going to ball out on your team. And it's like, I hate how good he is. But you love to hate him. But that was Kobe. And Kobe's one of the ones where he would have. You see all the talk shows. You see like how people, especially now with podcasts and stuff like that. It would have been nice. It would have been nice for his family too to keep him around as long as possible, as long as anybody else has ever lived. But to get him and his input on certain things, and maybe if he would have came out with like a show or like a podcast that he explained how he did things, it would have been dope. So rest in peace to people that you didn't worship them as gods, but they were icons, and you loved what they did either for the genre, like the sport that they played in, or maybe the things that they acted in, or the things that they wrote, maybe the music they made, and it made you connect to them, or it made you feel a certain emotion that other things don't make you feel, that bring out that good emotion or that encouragement or that drive. Rest in peace to them. And on that note, I am done with this episode. If you stuck this long, I promise I'm gonna try to make it a little bit better. Right now I feel like I'm on talk radio. But it kind of feels good to have something like YouTube, to be able to make videos like this. If I have topics I want to talk on, if I want to go deep dive into certain things, then I can, and maybe I can catch the attention of somebody else that has the same type of thought process. That helps. But help your boy. Like, comment, subscribe. You may not like, subscribe. You may not subscribe, like, share. Maybe other people will like it. I would like if, I get all three. And and I get the view too. Like, watch it, please. Thank you. If you made it all the way to the end. Super thankful. Trying to make it come up. Also trying to be the creative person that I am. and make some things happen. I bought this equipment for a reason. Maybe I'll show it how my desk looks in another video. But stay fly, and the key to success in life is drinking a lot of water and minding your business. I promise you, you're gonna go far.